Welcome to Too Hot to Sip podcast. Your host Diana is bringing you all the news stories and hot topics you can't resist. Whether it's trending tea or real-life truths, we're diving in with a fresh perspective, ready to sip, spill, and savor every bit. So, grab your cup, settle in, and let's get into what's too hot to ignore.
Hey you guys, what's up? Hopefully everyone is having a great weekend. As of today, it is Saturday, and honestly, I am just vibing and chilling, waiting until it's time for me to meet up with my little poo, and so we can go out for dinner. So while I am chilling and waiting, I do want to hop on here because I know I'm so inconsistent, but I promise you I will get better. Just give me time. Okay, give me time. But the reason why I'm hopping on today, February 1st, is because it have not even been 3 to 6 months yet, and 2025 have started off with a banger. Now, one of the bangers is dealing with the deportation that is going on. The mass deportation, right? Donald Trump said from the beginning that he will literally, when he gets to office, he's immediately starting that process. And he, kid you not, he did. He surely did. Last Sunday, was it last Sunday or so? He was not playing. He was not playing. He got people on board, and literally here in Florida, thousands of people have been deported on a Sunday. So for the people that celebrate or people that is religious and they worship on Sunday, I understand the fear y'all must have had when ISIS and all these people came and literally swooped you guys up from church or at home or from work. Because first of all, it's embarrassing. Second of all, it is scary. Third of all, you're confused. Your senses is like all over the place because this is not what you had expected, honestly, with United States. But again, whoever is in office, these are the things that's going to happen. Now, I do want to put out here, okay, before any arguments, before any discussion have been made, I am not Republican, nor am I Democrat, okay? And let me break it down for you why I don't choose a particular party. Because for me, I like to see both sides. You know what I'm saying? I like to see both sides. Regardless if I was financially wealthy or not, I will still be seeing both sides. And for me, I live my life how I live my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't sit here being too strict, too to the left, or too much to the right. Because I do have my reserves on certain things. And then there's certain things that I'm like more lenient on, right? So, with that being said, when I am discussing this, please know I am not a politician. I'm not into politics like that. I don't have like a great knowledge of things like that to really sit here and, go back and forth and, plead my case, but hear me out, right? Let's start from how all of this kind of transpired, really, when it comes to Democrats and Republicans. Because I think a lot of people forget that there's actually 3 to 4 parties. There's liberals, there is independent, there's Democrats, and there's Republicans, right? And the only party that we ever focus on is always Democrat and Republican, right? Liberals or independents, they never could reach to a point where they can literally be at the debates or anything like that and actually win. It's always been those two strong heads Democrat and Republican. And what I have observed out of my 32 life, but really based on going to school and actually learning about history, dabble a little bit in politics, and so on. There's always been this battle between Democrats and Republicans, right? And I'm just gonna give a little summary before we jump into like the main juice, the immigrants and deportation, all this nonsense, okay? So pay attention. So, like I said, there's always been this battle. Republicans are very reserved. They are mostly white supremacists, I would say. They are more outcast anybody. You have to be inclusive. And Democrats have always been open-minded, willing to bring the world together, and et cetera, right? Bring nations together, et cetera. Now, when I first got into, I guess, voting, what I have noticed for the past couple of decades is one party would destroy the economy and then the next party would fix it. Is there a particular party that destroys? No, because sometimes whoever is elected, it could be a Republican, they destroy the economy, and then a Democrat comes and fix. Or a Democrat destroy the economy, and then a Republican comes and fix. Now, what I have been saying to my friends that love Donald Trump, because it really started when Donald Trump came on office, the first round, is that when he came, I really didn't see much of a difference. I haven't seen much of an improvement that he done. I think because Donald Trump is more focused on business, because that's all he knows and that's all he grew up in. And his family was a diehard Christian where, women don't have no say-so. It's all about the man. The man is the communicator, the guidance, the leader, and stronghold, and no one can tell them what they can do or not do. He just always had that. Sorry, you guys. I'm getting over, I guess, a cold or allergy or something. But anyway, so he had that, right? So when he became in office the first round, I didn't see much difference. I didn't see the flow of money that people were saying that they was getting. I feel like people that was basically using the government a little bit more must have seen the difference, because where I was at, my tax bracket, I'm not going to say it was like 50 and up, but I was in a good, decent bracket where I wasn't in a place needing government assistance, and I wouldn't even get it anyways because of how much I make. So with that being said, I didn't see the much difference. My thing is, when C-19 came around, I felt like Donald Trump did not get that under control because it was in his office, and that's what a lot of people don't remember or choose to remember. When he was in office, that's when C-19 began, and he did not take it serious when they said in China there was a breakout, right? So the border was still open to let people in. He was making these weird commentary or jokes, whatever, saying you can drink bleach and it'll cure you, you won't get C-19. Until it was time to re-elect a new president, that's when at the end he wanted to take it serious, and that's when he started doing the stimulus check. Now, a lot of people don't understand, when government give out money in which we do not have, or was not enough to supply for a situation of a pandemic like this, we're gonna fall short long term. Why? Because that is hitting the generation of millennials. I can never say this word right. Millennials, because where's that money, right? Where are they pulling this money? And there's never free things with the government. You understand? There's never free things. You always have to pay it back. So when Donald Trump started the stimulus check to win the votes, and then when the COVID came and actually struck, that's when he wants to take it serious, because he's about to get out of office if he don't win this election. And unfortunately, for other people that wanted him on there, he did not, right? So then now the Democrat came in. Now, I wasn't really following that election. I didn't really know what was the plan that Biden had, what was he promising or anything like that. But when they came in, I just noticed that they was trying to get a handle on this pandemic, right? So of course, for me, they was wasting a lot of money. Wasting a lot of money for no reason. Then printing new money, which caused the inflation, because again, no one is really focusing on where is all this money going. When the pandemic hit, why did United States have $0 or zero materials, zero anything to protect their citizens when it comes to a mass pandemic like this? Because in history, back then, it was always every 10 decades or so a pandemic hit, right? Now let's bring it back a little bit more. Before C-19 came, there was a thing called Ebola that was roaming around, right? After Ebola, it was something with the mosquitoes. Everybody was so scared to get bitten by mosquitoes because diseases out there, it was uncurable, whatever the case may be. People was dying left and right. So that was one. Like, for me, no matter what party was in office, why no one have been checking the funds? And I don't know if that's the treasurer or secretary of state that is supposed to be handling the United States financials and actually audit, United States to see, okay, what is the goddamn line item for a pandemic? This is how many people we have. After the census, and y'all have done the census 10 years ago, I think, or less than that. This is how many people is in the United States. If a pandemic hits, do we have enough material, money, funds to take care of our citizens? Right? The other line item, if any tragedy happens in a state, do we have funds for that? If any natural disaster happened, do we have funds for that to take care of our citizens? I don't understand why so much people is so worried about all of these nonsense and chit chats of pride, gays, and she's, he's, and all this stuff, when we need to be focusing on our money, focusing on, is United States good? Like, if anything happened, we got money, and then we could trickle down and worry about the other stuff, because it's not that big of a deal. Because at the end of the day, you cannot control people. If you're going to control people, then you need to change the United States as a dictatorship and be like British and Russia. If you want a dictatorship, or North Korea, okay, and be a dictatorship and you can control people. Which that would never happen, because I don't think people will be voting for a dictatorship. Because again, you need the citizens to vote to outlaw the liberal, I guess, of the United States and make it a dictatorship. I don't know how that works, right? So I'm rambling. That's one, right? Again, it don't matter what party was in it. But this time, I feel as much as Democrat was wasting money for nonsense in which we did not understand what they were spending money for, like my boo, Teddy told me, that Democrat was sending $50 million or $50 billion to Africa for condoms. Why? Why are we doing that? When we already do not have money in the United States. We don't have funds. Because when I retire as a millennial, I may have to continue to work because we won't have enough money for retirement. The government cannot pay me back for retirement because we don't have money. We are already in major debt where we reached the trillions. Okay, do you understand that? We will never be able to pay that shit back. Unless the rich people of the United States wants to contribute and cut down that damn price of what we owe, we will be very grateful to these rich people, which we know they are going to be selfish and do not help, right? So that is one. Democrat was wasting money when they was in office. I've been knew that. This is why I just keep out of it. I just make sure that, bitch, every 2 weeks I'm getting paid. Make sure my money is in my account. Make sure that I can pay my bills. Okay, and if I have little extra money to spend to buy a few things or whatever, it better be there. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's jump into the next part. Right after y'all understand all of this that I was talking about, right? Let's jump into Donald Trump now being in an office and enforcing all of these new, what is it called? Executive orders. All right?
Diving into today's episode, did you know that this podcast has a supporters club? By becoming a member, you not only gain access to exclusive content, but also play a crucial role in supporting your favorite podcast. See the link in the episode description to find out more. Now, let's get back to the episode.
All right, you guys. So, next. Donald Trump is in office 2025. And again, there have been a lot of controversy, child. Matter of fact, let me look up a situation before we talk about his executive order, especially this immigrant deportation, mass deportation, buffoonery for me. Right? Okay. So, what I wanted to Google is, did the rumors that Obama and Michelle have been split, like they're looking into getting a divorce. Let me see, because I remember there was a report of that, and I'm like, not our president. It cannot be our president. So let me see. Let me put the volume up to this. Hopefully you guys can hear it. If not, I will leave the link down in the description so you guys can listen. I'm getting it from Fox 26 from YouTube.
Alright, boys, who we betting on?
So let's see.
Kind of divorce or separation. Some of it fueled by the former First Lady's absence from President Jimmy Carter's funeral and President Trump's inauguration, very high-profile events. Now, the couple not addressing the rumors at all to the public, but today they both posted on Instagram saying they plan to honor a teen who died but performed at President Obama's second inauguration. Joining us to talk about it, a relationship expert, Dr. Izan Ažbe. Glad to have you here, Fat Girl. It's good to see you. So, first of all, number one is this our damn business?
First of all, no, it's not. Here's what's happening. You've got the media, and you've got a climate in this country right now that does not reflect normalcy. We've got an idiocracy in play. And you can see that anything that can malign our culture, because this is a cultural war thing, is let's start with the most revered, respected representative of that culture. And if I can attack that, I'm not just attacking President Obama, I'm attacking an institution that represents Black excellence.
And so when we take a look at this, for those who are wondering, who still may have fed into it, and they're wondering, are they still together? Are there any signs that indicate, because both posted on Instagram, and she made it clear, she said, quote, my husband.
Thank you. Well, think about this. This man has served this country without blemish, without scandal, without being indicted on felonies how many times, right? Not being impeached twice. So there has to be something that is this undercurrent of, okay, let me find a way. And this media, Fox, on these networks, are just trying to find something. They're not saying, well, this poor woman just lost her best friend, who happened to be her mother. They're not saying that some of the insulting things that have come out of Donald Trump's mouth, or people that are in that inner circle of lunacy, that why would I come to your inauguration when your wife has insulted me, when you have insulted me, when you make assertions that attack my family and attack my character? Now, I got to give it to President Obama. I know him. I have had the pleasure of being affiliated with him, and he has class and character. Even John McCain, he shook hands and said, hey man, the best man won. And what I see in President Obama and his dear wife is enough class to say, you know what, I'm just like what she said, when they go high, go low, I'm just going to go high, and I'm not going to play into this, but I'm also going to be true to myself. So whatever is going on with them, I think a person has a right to grieve. I think they have a right to decide, if I really don't want to be part of what you are saying and your agenda, why in the hell should I act like I in any way embrace and support it? And then more than that, when the media attacks someone that's grieving, someone that's going through depression, and then you try to piggyback that, just like this tragedy, instead of just saying, you know what, we've had a loss, we've lost people who gave their lives for service, we've lost them.
And you're talking about the plane.
Yeah, the plane, right? And we've lost people that were professors at universities that were creating wonderful law students and lawyers. No, that's not what came out. What came out was ignorance, insensitivity, bias. And where did it come from? The very top. That is the same institution, not just Donald Trump, because he's been enabled. The same people that enable the media assault on this family.
All right. Dr. D. Von Young, always good to see you here on the Factor with the expertise we need. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Texas was weak.
Alrighty. So hopefully you guys was able to hear that. If not, once again, I will leave that link down in the comment section below. But let's continue the conversation. Donald Trump is in office, and Donald Trump won the election, right? So now it seems as if Republicans, regardless in entertainment news, celebrities, rich people behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it, was plotting and scheming to make Obama and Michelle looks bad. And if you heard in the conversation, the reason why Michelle was not around is because she was going through a hardship. She lost her mother. And I understand completely. As much as my mother get on my last damn nerves, I love her to death. Like, I would literally lose myself as well if anything happens to my mother, God forbid. Knock on wood. So, with that being said, she also didn't go to the inauguration because Donald Trump and his wife has been very disrespectful towards her family, and the people that she cares about. And as a black woman, you know, if you're gonna talk shit about our family, about me, and the people I love, bitch, it's either when I catch you, make sure you keep that same energy, or I will not be present around you. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to smell you. I don't want to hear your name. Nothing. Okay? I'm going to be in my world and you stay in your world. Which I understand. Now, are they getting a divorce? No, I don't think so. They are too madly in love, and they have gone through the hurdles of marriage to the point where they understand each other, right? And that is the place that most marriages do not get to. Okay, so let me leave it there. Now, Donald Trump won. Now he's in office, and he have signed quite a bit executive orders, right? And the main one right now is the immigration one, which created the mass deportation for illegal immigrants, I guess. But are they really illegal? Because if Joe Biden signed an executive order to allow immigrants to have refuge in the United States for 2 years, because that was the actual executive order, that they could come over to the United States for 2 years under a temporary citizenship, where they would be able to work and contribute to the United States and etc. Which I understand, but at the same time, I also understand the Republican. If you bring more people into our country, it is going to be less work for your actual citizens to have a job and be able to carry on with life. And I'm not gonna lie, I have been complaining for the last 4 years that there have been a lot of homeless people out in the streets. Like, I would drive every day, and I would even drive by my area, and my area only had like 2-3 homeless people that we know on a regular basis. They stay here because, everyone here is kind to them. We know them for years, okay? So we're okay with them being here. But now there's new homeless people, and I was starting to be scared. Like, I was starting to fear for my fucking life, because they started breaking into people's cars. We started to hear gunshots, which we never used to hear before. It was more crimes happening and more homeless people around. And it was worrying, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, the reason why is because there is no jobs. There is really no job. Like, I was looking to leave my current job to another job, and going into Indeed, there was nothing. Like, there was only like little part-times here and there. It was more of customer service, cashiers, and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, for real? It is really dry. Like, there's really no jobs out here. And now I understand why, because there's a lot of homeless people out here. Why? Because there's a lot of immigrants in the United States, and it makes sense. But my thing is, and I understand more crimes, more, issues, this and that. I understand. I truly do. But I feel like there should have been a different way to handle it. The deportation, because, again, it's degrading, it's scary. The fact that families are going to be broken because, again, within 2 years, people will fall in love with a citizen, have kids and whatever, and now they done built their life either renting an apartment or home, or actually purchasing a home, and now they have to leave all that behind and go back to the country that they had to escape, which they didn't have nothing, and now they got to start from ground zero, right? And I know Trump was like, well, we don't want to split families up so everyone can go. And I'm like, how cold-hearted can you be? You feel me? How cold-hearted can you be? You know, the fact that he is trying to remove the Bright citizenship, which that is so fucking wrong in so many levels, because if a child is born in United States soil, like, bitch, in everything, like, boop, they should be automatically citizen, because where was they born? In United States. So, with that being said, the mom should immediately have citizenship, because they need to raise their child. They need to have that connection with their child. They need to be there and be present. And I understand, yeah, you don't want to break up the family, so you don't want to deport just the dad if he's not a citizen, and, you know, starting from ground zero. But it would be wrong to remove a child that was born in the United States. That's how you become a citizen, because you was born here. Just like if I were to go to Africa and I had a child born in Africa, they will automatically be African citizens, because they was born, they came out the canal of a woman and was born on the soil of Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, they was born by the border and then I'm crossing over, and now they're, just because they was a newborn baby, they're no longer, they can't be a citizen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't make sense to me, because in every history, in every class, in every school, we all knew where you were born at is your citizenship, right? So that would be crazy. So what would you do? Like, my whole thing is, what would you do with, I guess, mothers that is immigrants that is pregnant, and you know pregnant mothers cannot fly at a certain months. Like, if they're in their third trimester, you cannot fly because it will be a risk. And also, you guys know, if y'all did not know, if you are pregnant and you are in your last trimester, probably last week or almost to your due date, the reason why they don't want you to be on the plane is because that child will automatically, I think, be a citizen of their airline or something like that. Let me see. I remember I heard about it. If you give birth on the plane, right? Let me see. I will Google that and I'll let you guys know that next time. But yeah, so it's weird. I just don't understand that part. I don't understand why he removed the birthright or birthright citizenship, which would automatically make the mom a citizen when the child is automatically a citizen, right? So I understand, I think it was a Supreme Court that stopped the birth. Let me see, I'm gonna try to birth right, I think that's what it was. So, okay. So I'm gonna read this article because I don't think he can end stuff like that, right? So it makes sense. So this article from Greenon Center for Justice, they have an article saying presidents cannot end Bright Right Citizenship, right? President Trump executive order is almost certain to be struck down, and this has been updated since January the 23rd. So I know it's February, but let's read a little bit, okay? Right here. So the Supreme Court affirmed this interpretation nearly 130 years ago in an 1890 case called United States versus Wong Kim Ark. The plaintiff in that case, Wong Kim Ark, was born in San Francisco in 1873 as an adult. He left the country to visit his Chinese citizen parents and their homeland. He was, however, denied re-entry to the United States by government officials who dispute his status as a United States citizen. Citing principles that stretch back through 17th century English law and the clear language of 14th Amendment, the Supreme Court recognized that Bright Right Citizenship is ancient and fundamental. The court has continued to endorse this understanding since, including in 1982, Harler versus Doe, which affirmed that undocumented immigrants and their children are entitled to all the 14th Amendment's protection. Trump ordered content as opponents of Bright Right Citizen long have that the children of undocumented immigrants can't be citizens because they allegedly aren't subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. That's nonsense. Undocumented immigrants and their children are required to follow the same law as everyone else on U.S. soil, including paying taxes. As distance from the primary example of people not subject to the federal government jurisdiction, foreign diplomats. My God, excuse me. It's reasonable to wonder whether the Supreme Court will defy Trump on an issue about which he has campaigned so aggressively. It's undoubtedly true that the justices have bent American into novel shape to avoid direct conflict with Trump, but backing Bright Right Citizen doesn't require some unpretended feature of progress. Just look at the Fuller Court, which decided Wong Kim Park 2 years earlier in its Pleas versus Ferguson, one of the most notoriously racist ruling in U.S. history, even though justices who embraced the two-tier separate but equal regime of race relation that ruled the United States for generations couldn't find an honest way around the 14th Amendment plain language. This percentage will loom brightly and heavily over any move the court makes. So let's go to the 14th Amendment, because it seemed like there's a language there which you guys should know. No one can bend the 14th Amendment. All you can do is add on to the 14th Amendment or any amendments. You can add onto it, right? So let's see. The 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees citizenship, equal protection, and due process to all people. It was ratified in 1868 during the Reconstruction era. Citizenship. The 14th Amendment grants citizenship to all people born or naturalized in the United States, including formerly enslaved people. It also states that no state can deprive someone of their citizenship. Equal protection. Okay, so I don't think I care about the rest. Okay, so basically, the amendment, the 14th Amendment, basically, anyone that is born or also when I say neutralized, I believe if you went through the actual process of becoming a citizen, they cannot remove that from you, right? So any child being born into United States soil are automatically citizens, right, of United States. Now the problem comes where what would happen to the mother and father? Because we understand that once the child is born in the United States, they are automatically citizens. What happens to the mother and the father? My thing is, what can Donald Trump do because since they cannot remove the citizenship for kids being born here, even if they're born from an immigrant, what can they do? What can they basically add to quote unquote remove the parents? Because if that's the case, there's going to be a lot of kids in the what is it called? The shelter home, right? Being an orphan. And before that was an issue because the United States have an issue back then back in the 1800s, 1700s, and etc., where there was a lot of orphan kids, right? So I don't see how Donald Trump will do this, because regardless of the case, that child, if you send the parents back to wherever they come from, the child is still citizen. The child is still a citizen. So either way, if you do send them back, they still can come back if, one day they get older, like 18 or whatever, and they want to come to the United States. They can. They literally can. Like, you cannot block them from coming back to the country that they was born in. Now, it would be real fucked up if they add a line where and I don't think that would even hold, because they are rightfully so citizens. Because what I was thinking is, if they have been deported with their family, I'm thinking probably they will put like a limitation on how long they could come back for their citizenship to still hold. But I don't think they can do that, because again, you cannot deprive a citizen of their citizenship, So I want to see how will this work, because I know the Supreme Court have halted that. So that's something that Donald Trump right now cannot enforce. He would have to go through a long process to deal with the court and, I guess, amending the 14th Amendment, which, for me, I think he should leave that shit alone. But moving on, because I don't know what will be the process for that. But the illegal immigrants, you want to say, deporting them. What does that even state? Like, when you deport them, what does that even state? Does that mean they can never come back? Because again, they have houses here, they have family here, they built a life here, you know what I'm saying? And what would that constitute? Is there a limitation of when they can apply to become citizen and come through here? Because I know there's a list of things that immigrants would have to know to become a citizen and do. And if the visa is gonna take forever for them to get approved, like, what are they gonna do? For me, it's scary. It don't really make sense, but at the end of the day, I understand that he's trying to, break grounds with United States and rebuild it back to the time where everything was good. And I wouldn't say back in the 1800s, because bitch, back in the 1800s, it was still separations, I believe. If I have it right, it's either separation or it was still slavery back then. And the economy was not great, honestly. It wasn't that great. Nowhere in history where United States have been in a great spot. So we can shut that shit down. But my question would be, well, not my question, but I understand he's trying to rebuild the economy, checking, evaluating, seeing where money have been spent, where have money been wasted, what he should do to put money back into the citizens' pocket and all these things. But I still don't understand the plan. I have friends that have been emailing me saying, oh, you see what he's doing? This gonna help us. This gonna put money in our pockets. Da-da-da-da. But they're so focused on putting money in our pocket when they're not seeing that our rights are being also taken away. And I'm not gonna go by race and anything like that, because at the end of the day, we already know Republicans are supremacists, white supremacists, okay? But like people or black people have been saying on Instagram, TikTok, and X, black people, all black people, all of y'all, sit back, close your laptop, close your phones, don't worry about social media or the news, continue doing you, continue stacking up your money, and let this 4 years go on by, because black people have been stating for years now what this shit will look like for a lot of people, and they really assumed that it was just black people that was going to get hit, when in actuality it's really the other immigrants, the other non-white, pure white people. So sit back, relax, chill, and do you. Enjoy these 4 years, because it's going to be a year. Alright, you guys, let me know down below what you think of my comments and about past history with Democrats and Republicans, what y'all think about this mass deportation and ending of the Bright Right Citizenship, like how would that even work, and etc. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye, lovelies.
Thank you for taking the time to watch today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please let me know by clicking the like button. Share it with friends and family. And last but the least important, subscribe or follow. We hope to see you next time.